Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kyra here, joined with S tier Raid Shadow Legends streamer JGIGS. Why don't you say what's up?
Hey, what's going on, man?
So in this video today, what we're going to be doing is JGIGS just started playing Awaken here recently, right? How long has it been?
I'm on my 8-day login in my achievements.
8 day long. Okay, so this
yeah.
is good. This is good. So you're just kind of getting into it, just trying to get your bearings. But I think a lot of people that are playing this game also played Raid. So this would be a good opportunity that we could kind of break down what you're doing and kind of guide you in the right direction for your account here from someone that I've been playing since for a few months now. I want to say about 3-4 months, but we kind of have relatable experiences, and I think a lot of our viewers also can relate to using our prior Raid knowledge into this game too, so we can kind of level up here. So that's gonna be the plan for this video.
Okay.
So I think probably the best way to do this is, what questions do you have? What are you kind of curious about? And I think you're going to have a good frame of reference for the typical person that's just starting the game. And then I could kind of play off that and hopefully, drop some gems here for our viewers.
Yeah. I think for me, it's a question of just general efficiency. I want to make sure that there's not anything that I'm assuming is the right thing to do. That's not because of my experience with Raid and Summoner's War and these other games. And then I think maybe just maybe a tour through my heroes. You can tell me like who's okay to use as food, who's not. Those kinds of mistakes that we all want to avoid early on in these games. And then like give me a general direction. Like if you were to log into this account, what are the next 5 things you would do? You know what I mean?
I like that. Okay, so here, let's pull up those champs, because I think everyone's different on what they're actually going to pull. And so when I look at this right here, when I see these champs, so it looks like, did you start with Evra?
I got her from the battle pass. Mathasia I got from my rookie summon. And then who is the other one? There was another Lego. Yolanda, I bought that $30 guaranteed Lego pack, and I got Yolanda. Okay. And then Sierra, I just recently pulled as my first actual summon from an advanced shard.
Okay. Well, I think right now, looking at these heroes, nukers in this game are kind of like that first guaranteed 6-star. They're kind of like the Kale of this game, where you would want to double down on Evra or Sierra. So I think the best choice for 6-starring is going to be Evra. I like her a ton. I think she's really good. And then Mathasia is a great pull because she's so niche. She's niche in the sense that she's one of the only characters that has a revive, but she has really good healing just built into her kit even without the revive portion. But you're going to really rely on her way later on. Like, she's really good in like hard void tower, some like later game stuff in this game, and guild boss stuff like that. So she's like a good pick. Like, whenever I would recommend people, it would be the nukers in like Hydri, Evra, and Valeria. So as you're starting legendary in the rookie summons, and then Mathasia is that one kind of niche pick that you could, if you really wanted to double down on your late game stuff.
Okay.
And then,
that's kind of what I was going for. I figured she'd be decent support to carry, but I imagined she was probably going to be good as I got later into the game. So
yeah, because in this game, like in Raid, you would want like people like, I don't know, like a God tier pull would be like Krisk or something like that kind of support to kind of get you through it. Whereas nukers in the beginning of the game kind of are lame. Like trying to get through Dragon with a nuker if you don't have God tier gear is just a horrible experience. And whereas in this game, it's kind of different, where your carry in this game is your damage dealer. Like, your good AoE damage dealer for a lot of content in this game. And then when you're beating bosses later on, there's going to be niche characters that beat bosses. So it's a little different than Raid. So it kind of adds a little extra value to these nukers in this game.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, I would say the move is Evra and Sierra's actually really good. She's like a single target, but with the AoE built in on a 2-turn cooldown, that happens quite a bit. So and then affinity bonus, I don't know if you've seen it, but affinity bonus is way stronger in this game than it is in Raid, because it's a 50% damage boost, which is...
Yeah, I've noticed it seems to be very substantial. So yeah. I'm trying to plan around it a little better.
So kind of having that. And then also just kind of looking at the heroes here, that Hulin's guy that you got at 40, that dark character, he's going to be someone you're probably going to want to use in dungeons here way later on, like your first dungeon. Well, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself, but mainly when it comes to this account, those are going to be the priority characters to build. Thinking about if there's anything else. Here, 1 second.
I've got a couple of other champs that I've pulled that I haven't gotten to yet.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see some of these. So I've pulled this dude so many times.
Oh wow.
And then I know
Yeah.
you can fuse him too.
Yeah.
And
He's
then I got a
good.
Lightwing Zach, which I feel like I've heard his name a lot.
So he's good in arena. And so arena is going to be something. He's very niche. But fun as hell to play because there's this synergy. Like I have a video on it where what you could do is when he gets hit, he has a 30% chance or 50% when ascended to just get a bonus turn. So in an arena, you get stacking attack. So then what you could do is brands are super popular where brands always counterattack and hit when their teammate has been hit. So what you do is you forcibly attack anyone else besides Brand. He gets hit and you have a coin flip to go again. And there's no limit to the amount of counterattacks that Brand's going to do and the amount of times you could go with Zach. So you can literally force it. Like I've gone like 6 times in a row with him where you just literally go and you attack and then Brand hits you. Then you go again, and you go again, you go again. And then his ultimate is the thing that does a ton of damage. And since in arena you get scaling attack, as the arena goes on, you're going to become this god that one-shots people because you ignore defense. So then that's how you can use him as a counter for these teams. But it takes so long to do that. Like imagine playing every arena match where you go like 12 rounds, but in late game when you face all these tanky teams, it's actually a pretty fun combo. But up until that point, you probably never going to use Lightwing Zach. It's just he has a fun little thing going on there.
Okay, cool. Let's see who else. I was looking at this champ. I feel like this champ has some potential.
Oh yeah, he's great he's one of the few characters that can actually like be useful in Gemini Dragon. It's like the hardest dungeon that like one shots you very quickly, and so that's going to get you some pretty niche, like late game gear. I kind of look at it like it'd be like the Fire Knight, where it's like harder than Dragon and stuff like that, but you get some good gear for like PvP. That'd be like the closest comparison you can get. I would say one character you should probably level up is going to be Mary. She's insane.
Which one is that?
That's the light character right there, that girl with the helmet. Yeah, she's amazing. So reason why she's so good is she can cleanse stuff there, but look at her ultimate. So this is going to allow you to cheese a ton of content.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And so you're going to probably want to rely on her to be able to get you through a lot of stuff. If stuff is difficult, like for example, let's talk about like progression here. So if we go to campaign, I want to see where you're at in campaign.
Okay, I have cleared all of the common whoops, I always do that. I've cleared everything on common. On hard, I am in chapter 9.
Okay, so this is going to be your big priority to go first, is going through the campaign to get to mythic, because this is how you're gonna get more like the reward difference between mythic and hard is like infinite. Like it's like they're not comparable, where it's like once you get to mythic, then everything's gonna be 5-star drops. It's not gonna be good versions of 5-star drops, but at least it's gonna start to give you those 5-star drops, because up until that point, the only gear that actually is valuable is when you beat the basic campaign. You're gonna get that legendary gear that drops, so like that 4 pieces of it, that's going to be the good stuff for a very long time, because you don't get that from beating the hard campaign. And then you'll get finally some 5-star gear, but it could be common up to rare in there, and then that's going to be the gear you're going to use to then finally be able to take on one of these dungeons. So and also that's going to be the best way to farm glyphs. So if you go back to your characters, like let's say you go to Evra and go to her glyphs, this is going to be something you're going to want to max completely with her, like all the way, like no questions asked when it comes to maxing this. And because she's going to be your main carry, I think she's going to be the main. Her and Sierra are going to be like your go-to characters, and then that's going to allow you to farm stuff faster. And then eventually what you're going to do is you're going to want to target. So now if you want to back out of here and go to dungeons, then you're going to want to go to Arcane Dominator at the bottom there. Then you're going to want to target one of there's 3 dungeons that are actually worth targeting in Roaring Tolpla, but mainly it's Ash, Magisteria, and Queen of Tides. Queen of Tides I think is the best like early game dungeon, unless you had like perfect characters for Ash, because Ash is hard, but it's very character gated. Like you need like Hydria or Nathalia to be able to beat it, and you have Sierra. Sierra is one of the best characters for helping you beat that, but once you have those characters, you could go there, and there's really good gear there. But for most people, Queen of Tides is the best thing because it's the easiest and good gear to be able to beat it.
Okay.
in my
I feel like
opinion.
I'm in good shape for it too because I've got a lot of green going on. A lot of strong green stuff
Well,
going
like
on.
the character, if you go back to the characters you have, like Hewlands, that guy I was talking about, he's great
Mhm.
for it because he's providing the no positive effects and the anti-healing. So he's a really niche character that is good at something very specific, which is this. He's like the free to play version of being able to beat it. And then you're gonna want like poisoners. Ideally, Santis. If you had Santis, she would be the way to go. That's a fusible character, by the way. But there is
Okay.
other poisoners. There's a rare character. I forget his name, but he looks like a little tree dude. He's not the fire tree, but he's another
Is
tree guy.
is it this
That
guy?
no, go over. He's one all the way over to the left and one up.
This guy?
That guy right there. He'll probably be like a decent free to play poisoner for you to be able to beat them.
Okay.
So that's gonna, because he applies poisons, and
Oh yeah, I see.
poison's gonna be a way to go. And then then another thing that you're gonna want to do is if you go to the fusible characters, or not the fusible, but if you back out and click on that little that dude sitting down on the chair.
Oh yeah.
This guy, so that guy's going to be really good for you too. So you want to, like, this is going to be a priority for you, is to be able to do your arena battles and then get as many, 50 items, because he's really good. And he helps a lot with that dungeon. Like, mainly he gets like relegated to helping you speed run Queen of Tides. But for the most part, like, what's nice about him is that he does a ton of damage. He's essentially an AoE character by killing people individually, but he's easy to gear because he has a built-in 30% crit rate, so you can
Oh nice.
max
Okay.
him out, and he actually hits really hard. Like, he's one of the better early to mid game characters. And then people say he falls off, but like he which he kind of does, but because he needs to be able to kill the person to really get his value, which is tough to do. But he's the best character by far in clearing those Queen of Tides waves in the beginning. So you're going to be farming that dungeon all the time, so he makes it fast, and you can't really get around that. There's no other character in the game that can do it as fast as him, so you're always going to use him. He's going to
Okay.
be, and then as you can see there, you could get Sierra, which you already pulled, but that's so far into the future that it's basically not even relevant for you for like a couple months, because you have to, like,
Oh wow.
you
Oh,
have to do
Void
so
Tower
much.
hard. Yeah, I
you
imagine
have
that's
to-
going to be.
Yeah, like, which is difficult. Eventually you'll be able to do it relatively quickly. Because you just need nukers. It depends on what the Void Tower is going to be. We don't know what the things are every month. And by the time you can actually do it, it's going to be another Void Tower. But the big thing is the bounty stages here. Even if you could beat all those bounty stages, you only get 5 a day, and you need to get to 80. You need to beat, so to kind of give you guys an idea of what the max of bounty stages are, is 80. So one things you need to be doing every single day is your dispatches and your bounties, because you're going to be time gated on these super heavily, because that's just a time gate, because your foodie quests are going to be so important.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been trying to go hard in those as well. I'm almost through stage 1 of them. So
Yeah, a lot of them are non-retroactive, so it's like you want to just kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, I can do this, and then luckily the Void Tower ones are. So if you beat Void Tower like hard 100, and then eventually go back to it, it's going to just auto complete those for you, which is nice. But some
nice.
of them
Okay.
are not that way. Like, for example, 10 pulls. Like, you do 10 pulls
Dude.
and you get to the 10 pull, that obviously doesn't work. So it's
I
annoying.
always
there.
get hung up on these because I
Yeah.
didn't. I would summon right before I would get to him because I wasn't paying attention.
Okay, you just got to wail harder, bro. Wail
I know.
harder. Yeah. So, okay, so I'm just threw a ton of information at you. What questions do you got? Give me some feedback here.
I think you've sorted out a lot. Here's one. I know that gray borders are like safe to be used as food, right? Always.
Yes.
Okay.
I would say gray all the time. Foodies you take all the way up to max star, because that gives you the most
Okay.
value.
Right.
I don't like ever using elites as food, because you like, they're using fusions now, but what if there's new fusions in the future? So I try to
Right.
keep as many copies as possible, but there is a lot of elites in this game. They're actually good. And so it's kind of hard to figure out all the ones that you go, like, for example, Hewlands and then Volt guy. Those are actually good, like and Mary, good non-meme level of
Okay.
characters to use. Also, that there's a healer in there, and like Rodera, she's a good healer that is actually worth taking up, because
Connor seems really good.
yeah, Connor's great. And another character that everyone has, Joseph's pretty solid too. So, like, the ones that I'm pointing out so far are ones that, like, can't be replaced. Whereas a lot of these, like the other healers and stuff, like you have Mathasia, for example, and you have Yolanda, which are both great support characters later on that you're eventually just never going to use these characters down the line. But some of these characters fill a role, kind of like in Raid, where it's like, yes, there's like legendaries and epic heroes that are good, but like there's these rares that are out there that are so unique that you kind of need them, even though there's better options.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad I was right about this guy. As soon as I pulled him and looked at his kit, I was like, I feel like this dude's going to be pretty good. I'm glad I was right about that.
Yeah, using that 400 IQ right there. So yeah, he's definitely good, and I think he's probably in the future going to get better because to give you an idea, like having that 80% unhealable, 80% chance to apply unhealable on a basic attack. The only other character that has that is like Krey Zurzok, and he has 100%, but Krey Zurzok is a light legendary. So to give you an idea of just like how rare that ability is, and I've been appreciating it a lot more in Arena, for example, when you're facing these tanky teams, because this game's so different than Raid when it comes to Arena, whereas most of the time when you're in Arena, it's all speed and you just nuke them. And if you don't go fast, whereas in this game, like I think the reason why is we don't have like armor pin sets in this game, and the defense down, like the typical defense down is only a 30%, and the typical attack up is only a 30%. So there's a reason why like they can get away with it in this game. And so eventually, I think when people get better gear, and if they provide us with better debuffs, then we might have a typical speed meta that at the moment doesn't exist in this game. Also, the affinity bonus is just so big. Yeah, I think that's another reason why it's happening.
Okay. For the dungeons, in Raid, it's kind of like you don't want to spend time in the dungeons unless you're at a certain point. Like it wouldn't be efficient. Is that the case here, or should I just be farming the highest stage I can?
Yes, it's just like Raid in that sense, where you don't even want to waste your time until you can at least do, like if you go to like Queen, for example, and scroll down, like notice how reward 3 to 4, you want to go to stage 11. So see how stage 11 is still 5 to 6. So this is, in my opinion, you might need to work your way up here because you get a better value of gear here. So notice at stage 10, for example, this would probably be the lowest stage I would want to farm. It's 4 to 5, but it can at least get you to like legendary gear. Whereas ideally you want to hit that stage 11 mark. So what you want to do is you want to spend all your time in campaign until you have your characters you're going to be using fully glyphed and ready to go. And so the priority is going to be getting your farmer. This is like essentially getting your first 6-star farmer in Evra, get her fully maxed, and then you're going to start to farm these stages, the hardest version of the stage. Because what I like to target, like if we go back to your character here, let's say you go to Evra and go to her glyphs, and then like click on one of the ones you don't have. So click on the glyph. So it's going to tell you exactly where to farm it. So ideally, you're going to try to go as far as you possibly can. So really, all you got to do is just follow the campaign and get to Mythic. And once you're in Mythic, and then you try to get as far as you can into Mythic, but you're probably going to get stuck at like 4 or something in Mythic. Get this character fully glyphed. Like that's going to be your priority, is getting this character fully purpled and then fully gold glyphed. Then this is going to be your slow progression through there. And then because gear, once you farm it, is fine, but getting the gear leveled is the hard part. That's the big bottleneck in this game. So you have to be super selective on the gear that you're actually willing to level. So if you go to your gear right now, and then see this gear right here, and see how you have legendary warrior gear. You got that from the basic campaign. This is going to be something that hopefully rolled well for you. So go, can you click on it? So crit rate, attack percentage, that's good. And then kind of click through all the other ones. Crit rate, flat. Well, that couldn't have been a good one, but you mean like that's what you're stuck with for now. At least you got crit rate, and then if you go, can you open your the manage gear?
Yeah.
And so I would just kind of go through these pieces here, and hope for bottom row. You want on the boots, you want attack percentage. On the ring, you want crit rate or crit damage. In your case, you probably want crit rate. And then on the ring, on the bottom right, you want attack percentage again. And then the top row is flat, just like in it's set, just like in Raid.
Okay, so it's not always speed boots in this game. Eventually
that will be the case. I think because the max speed you want on your nuker is going to be like 161 speed, but that we're thinking way far into the future, because that's going to get you faster than all the waves in hard void tower. But for the most part, like, you're not going to be able to have that luxury, I should say, early, because it doesn't really matter too much until later on, until you get to the dungeons. You could get away with attack percentage up until that point, but that would be a good piece. I would like that piece a lot. Like, you had speed with crit and crit damage. Eventually you're going to want that, to make sure your characters at least can get to 161 on your nuker, and then you're kind of good. And then you would have like the arbiter, the equivalent of arbiter in this game is Windrex, which is a epic, and that's going to be like your speed booster, and make sure you go faster and stuff. But a lot of this content is wave content, so you don't want to rely on that speed boost to be able to make sure you're going faster than the waves on your nuker, you know?
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So. Well, yeah, I'll look around her gear and see if there's any upgrades I can make. Because this was just the initial stuff that got thrown on her, but I might have some better stuff now.
Yeah. And so it just, that's kind of the progression. It's mainly, you know, mythic campaign, get your people glyphed, then move into the dungeon. Queen of Tides going to be your go-to, and then that's going to be like, and that's a long time. Like it sounds quick, but like that's a lot of grinding to do. To, you know, you have a lot of 6 stars to get, you have a lot of glyphs to get, but that's just kind of like the typical progression there. And then in the meantime, there's a lot of stuff you could be doing, like getting your books, like, because you could farm books in this game, like that's saving you raid wise at hundreds of dollars. You know, just so it's a no-brainer to
and
do
that's in here, right?
Yeah, that's right there. This is way easier dungeon-wise. So for epics, you just farm 6, and then for legendaries, you want to farm 9. And then, but that's pretty much it when it comes to, like, you know, most progression there for a very long time there.
Okay, so I need to work to get to 9 in this one then for my Evra then.
Yeah, ideally, but you know, you can. Getting that one character, you know how you could kind of sacrifice a little bit of efficiency for, you know, just to get it there because it's your first, you know, just get it done. And so it's like you can, you know, super min max it and all that stuff. But in reality, you know, like over time, that's where it's really going to start to matter. But those first couple characters, you're going to be a little, you know, it's okay to be a little inefficient, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I feel like I have a good direction. I'll sounds like campaign is like my number one priority.
Oh yeah,
right
absolutely.
Now.
You like the big bottleneck is trying to beat 10-8 hard. That's going to be a little difficult. You're probably going to want Mary, like at least like a level, like a 4-star or a 5-star version of Mary to be able to get invincible against Nicholas, because you have to beat like a Dark Nicholas. But that's, you know, very specific niche thing. But that once you beat that, then it gets a little easier and you get way better rewards. So it's really important to be able to beat that.
Okay. All right. I'll do that. Well, I'll check in with you when I get there.
All right. There we go. Do you have any final questions here for, you know, this session here?
I don't think so. I think that covers all the questions that I had for the near future anyway.
Okay. Awesome. Well, this is fun, and hopefully the whole goal of this was, you know, having some little feedback here to where it's not I'm just talking to a wall trying to give ideas. It's nice to have a specific direction on like what questions you have when you're in the beginning of the game. So hopefully this is helpful to all the people watching this, and, you know, hopefully it is helpful to you as well. So it was
super helpful, man. I really appreciate the time.
Okay, awesome. And be sure to subscribe to JGIGS if you guys play Raid. You know, I mean, you guys are probably already subscribed to him anyway, but check out his channel there. Also, you know, potentially, you know, you might have your own separate Awaken channel. You know, is that in the works?
Yeah, it might be. I'm thinking about we might get that set up here in the next few days and start shifting the content over to that channel. So I reckon just keep an ear out, and I'll holler when it's done.
Sounds good. All right, guys. Well, that's gonna be it for this video. You guys have a good one. Peace.